Every year, millions of people travel hundreds of miles around the world to see famous landmarks for themselves. That said, there are plenty of replicas available for people who don't care about uniqueness. Some replicas, such as the versions of the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower on the Las Vegas Strip, are certainly flashy, but others are interesting twists on the original. These 10 intriguing reproductions range from ostentatious to elegant. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below saying, "I subscribed." We will try to personally reply to your comment. Here are 10 of the most interesting replicas of famous landmarks. 10. The White House in Iraq. Kurdish businessman Shihab decided to model his mansion after the beauty and simplicity of the White House in Washington, D.C., which has served as the residence of every American president since John Adams in 1800. Shihab paid $20 million for the replica, which is located in the northern Iraqi city of Erbil, once controlled by Saddam Hussein. Shihab did not follow the original interior design, although he wanted the facade to resemble it. Of course, the interior of the historic White House is gorgeous, but Shihab went above and beyond. Clad the banister of the grand staircase and the ceiling in 21-karat gold. In addition, the Iraqi version has a luxurious Turkish bath, although it is smaller than the American, measuring 32,300 square feet, 3,000 square meters, as opposed to 55,000 square feet, 5,110 square meters. Furthermore, in a 2014 speech, Shihab said, "I'm keeping my bedroom for the rest of my life, while Obama should vacate it when his term ends." (9) Christ the Redeemer in Portugal. Standing on a 26-foot, 8-meter, pedestal, the 98-foot, 30-meter, statue of Christ the Redeemer in Brazil provides a spectacular view of Rio de Janeiro as it stretches out its arms. After seeing the statue in 1934, the Cardinal Patriarch of Lisbon started building a corresponding statue in Portugal. Then the Second World War gave the project more importance, and the statue symbolized the gratitude of the Portuguese for being spared the worst of the fighting. The Portuguese counterpart, known as Cristo Rei, or Christ the King in English, was introduced in 1959, and sits atop a 246-foot, 75-meter, pedestal at a height of 90 feet, 28 meters. Although it overlooks Lisbon across the river, it is located in Almada. An elevator takes visitors up to the pedestal, where they can see stunning views of Lisbon and see Christ up close. The Cristo Rei monument is part of a large complex of gardens and pilgrimage buildings overlooking the suspension bridge and the mouth of the Tagus River. These places are free to visit, and due to their size, they are never too crowded. (8) Big Ben in India. As they arrive at the intersection leading to Lake Town in Kolkata, India, drivers on VIP Road are in for a surprise. Here they will see a huge clock, similar to Big Ben, built in 2015. The Kolkata Time Zone Tower is a duplicate of the London landmark. However, it is considerably smaller than the original, about 100 feet, 30 meters. compared to Big Ben's 315 feet, 96 meters. South Dumdum Municipal Chairman Mrigunka Bhattacharya says Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's aim to make Kolkata rival London provided the impetus for the clock tower. Big Ben was the obvious choice. He noted, given that they had to build a vertical tower on a short piece of land. Nevertheless, this decision caused some resistance. Debashis Das, a professor of architecture at Jadavpur University, said that, it is obviously wrong to imitate a structure from another city. Every landmark in the city has a background and cultural context. They exist for a reason. '7. Leaning Tower of Niles U.S. Industrialist Robert Ilg completed the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Niles, Illinois in 1934. As part of an employee park for the Ilg Hot Air Electric Ventilating Company of Chicago. The tower, which is half the size of the original tower in Pisa, Italy, Niles' sister city since the 1991 deal, is located at 6300 West Touhy Avenue. Some people claim that the 600th anniversary of the Leaning Tower of Pisa inspired part of the tower's construction. In 1995, Mayor Nicolas Blasé and the Board of Trustees began a $1.2 million renovation of the Leaning Tower, which was completed in 1996, improving the building's structure, facade, and plaza. In addition, Ilg built a service tower as a monument to the famous astronomer Galileo, who is said to have used the original Leaning Tower of Pisa for scientific research. '6. Stonehenge in Australia. In England are the magnificent ruins of Stonehenge, the stones of which were placed to align with the sun, which rises on the summer solstice and sets on the winter solstice. Alternatively, people on the opposite side of the globe can travel to Western Australia to see the Esperance Stonehenge. Esperance Stonehenge was not built to look like the old ruins it is today. Rather, it is a representation of the stone's original appearance. The farm-built model consists of 137 stones, totaling 2,755 tons, 2,500 tons, carved from granite found nearby. Not only does it look brand new, but it's a full-size, astrologically aligned reproduction that's as accurate as possible. In 2014, owners Kim and Gillian Beale listed the attraction for $5 million Australian dollars, $3.2 million US, with the intention of selling it when they were ready to retire. They first reduced the price to $2.1 million Australian dollars, $1.3 million US, in 2020. After selling some of the adjoining acreage, the property was eventually sold in 2022. '5. The World Trade Center Twin Towers in China. In China, there are entire parks dedicated to building replicas of the world's most famous landmarks. These parks include the Window of the World in Shenzhen and the World Park in Beijing. The replicas of the Taj Mahal, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the Eiffel Tower displayed in the parks share many similarities. Both parks feature controversial reconstructions of the World Trade Center towers. More than 20 years after the Real Twin Towers collapsed, they still stand in these parks. with greatly scaled-down replicas of the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. It's unclear whether the park's decision to leave the scenes unchanged is a deliberate homage. Shenzhen is a metropolis that constantly presents itself as an international city. (4) London's Tower Bridge replica, China. These images of China's own Tower Bridge demonstrate that despite its reputation as a world leader in goods exports, the nation doesn't mind importing a historical landmark or two. Visitors to Suzhou, in eastern China, may mistakenly think they have accidentally traveled 9,000 kilometers from their departure point. Today, the city in Jiangsu province has an almost exact copy of London's most famous bridge. The Chinese duplicate is identical to the other, except that it is not equipped with a lifting mechanism to allow boats to pass under it. In addition, the Chinese model spans the River Thames, with twice as many towers as the original. Known as the Venice of the East, the charming city attracted crowds of visitors who came to explore its 56 replica bridges and stroll along its canals. (3) Sphinx. The latest in a series of replicas of an ancient Egyptian Middle Kingdom landmark. A huge replica of the Sphinx was built in China. China also has its own mini-Egypt, proving that copying really is the best form of flattery. Egyptian officials expressed disapproval upon learning of it at the time, saying this is a violation of Egypt's intellectual property. This is one of the many copies of the Sphinx in China. This replica of the Great Sphinx is located in the Lanzhou Silk Road Cultural Relics Park. It was just an extra copy of the Sphinx. Another one of almost the same size was discovered in the Chinese province of Hebei in 2014. It was discovered near the edge of Shijiazhuang, in the Shijiazhuang Cultural Industry Zone. There is a life-size copy of the Great Sphinx, which is 20 meters high and 60 meters long. In 2013, a giant snow replica of the Sphinx was even installed in the northern Chinese city of Harbin. He appeared at the 25th International Exhibition, Snow Sculpture Arts on the island the Sun in Harbin. (2) The Eiffel Tower in Japan. Although there are several replicas of the Eiffel Tower in Japan, the most striking is located in Minato, Tokyo. Tokyo Tower is slightly taller than its French counterpart, at 1,083 feet, 330 meters. Completed in 1958 and reaching a height of 1,091 feet. Just under 333 meters. The Tokyo Skytree, a television and observation tower that rises to an impressive height of 2,080 feet, 634 meters, is the tallest building in Japan, making Tokyo Tower the second tallest structure overall. Tokyo Tower's main observation deck can be reached by elevator or 600-step open staircase and is 492 feet, 150 meters, above the ground. At 820 feet, 250 meters, visitors can reach the upper deck via a separate set of elevators. The unusual orange and white paint job of the tower is not a design decision intended to distinguish it from the Parisian copy. Rather, it is an aviation regulatory requirement that states that structures above a certain height must have this color scheme. Tokyo Tower even had its own mascot for the 40th anniversary. The Nippon brothers, twins with pink pointy heads and overalls. (1) Tomb of Tutankhamun in Egypt. Naturally, the authentic tomb of Tutankhamun is in Egypt. But there is an extremely thorough duplicate a minute's drive away. The original tomb is still accessible to tourists. But anyone who enters contributes to the deterioration of the tomb, causing the paint to peel and the stones to wear away. To counter this, in 2014 a painstakingly crafted duplicate was discovered nearby. Adam Lowe, artist and owner of Factum Arte, made a copy as a charity initiative. His work took 5 years and cost his team $690,000. They measured the grave with an accuracy of 100 million points per square meter using a 3D laser scanner. The sarcophagus and walls were then precisely measured by a computer-controlled router, a computerized printer, and human hands were used to apply paint after the object was cut, shaped and cast. A few things have changed from the original. The entrance hall has Tut's museum, but no Tut mummy as it is still in the original. In general, archaeologists are excited about the technology's ability to create the most exact replicas imaginable. Long Island University Egyptologist Robert Breyer said the facsimile of Tutankhamun will not harm anyone, it will benefit Egypt and save the tomb. This is quite understandable. Friends, I hope you enjoyed my story about the 10 interesting copies of world-famous monuments. If you want to know more interesting facts and travel stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Press the bell to get notified about new videos. Thank you for your attention, and see you again on my channel.